Hello, and welcome to the Rider University online open house. My name is Jim Conlon, and I oversee financial aid and bursar operations here at Rider University. What I wanted to do was go over the financial aid process with you so that you have an idea of what to expect over the next year as you begin the application process here at Rider University. The first step in the process, or what I advise families to do as they're looking at universities, is find out what universities want when you're applying for financial aid. You want to find out what form they use. Here at Rider, we use the FAFSA form. Other universities may use what's called a CSS profile, or they may have their own form. You want to make sure you know exactly what the universities you're applying to require of you, what forms they're going to use. The next step that you want to do is find out when they need it by. What deadlines do they have when they're awarding their financial aid? Here at Rider, we have a preferred deadline of February 1st for filing the FAFSA. But that doesn't mean that you won't qualify for any aid. That's just our preferred deadline. So once again, here at Rider, what we require is the FAFSA form, and then we typically ask that families file it by February 1st. Since we require the FAFSA, I want to go over the FAFSA application process with you briefly so that you have an idea of what to expect. The FAFSA is the federal form. It governs aid for the feds, the state, and the university in our case. We use it for all three forms of aid. When you're applying for this, it's a two-step process. The first step is you will need to get what's called an FSA ID number. The FSA ID number will need to be retrieved for both the student and the parent. And you can do this at studentaid.gov. www.studentaid.gov is where you would begin that. After you have the FSA ID number, you can then begin filling out the FAFSA. The FAFSA for your freshman year will be available on October 1st. It will not be available until that time, so we're a little early in the process right now. After October 1st, you can begin filling out the FAFSA. The FAFSA collects information from both you and your parents, and it's biographical information, financial information, such things as name, birth date, social security number, and then it will include financial information. The financial information is pretty straightforward. I highly recommend using what's called the IRS data retrieval tool, which will allow you to import the information from the IRS for both your parents and yourself if you filed taxes last year. That would be the next step in the process. We require the FAFSA. Anybody who fills out the FAFSA will be awarded, and there are different deadlines for our awarding. If you decide to go early action here at Rider, we will award by the holiday break is typically what we do. You will need to apply by November 15th and fill out a FAFSA by November 15th to be eligible for those awards prior to the holiday break. This will be an estimated award for you so that you have an idea as you're going through the admissions process. The next step in the process would be all of those that apply regular decision. If you apply regular decision, we will begin awarding regular decision applicants who have filed a FAFSA after the holiday break. It's typically sometime around January 15th to February 1st is when we begin the process, and then we will do it on a rolling basis. So if you don't fill out the FAFSA or you don't apply to Rider until later in the process, say January or February, we will award you after that time. It typically takes about 10 to 14 days for us to award a newly admitted student. So that's what I would expect. Some advice I would give you as you begin this process is, once again, know what schools are going to require of you, when they're going to require it, and also keep in mind that May 1st deadline. When you're making these decisions, you're going to be considering schools on an academic basis, what environment they're going to be in, but one of the most important is the financial. And you want to make sure that you have all of the information available to you before you make that decision. And that deadline of May 1st, which is a national deadline, comes up pretty quick. So you want to make sure that you have all of the information in your FAFSA or whatever form the universities require to give you a clear financial picture ahead of that May 1st deadline. You want to be able to compare all of the schools financially. What is the bottom line for you for each of your individual choices? And how do those rank up, or how does that financial picture look compared to your top choices and where everything falls in for you? If you have any questions about the financial aid process here at Rider, you can always contact the Rider University One-Stop Services, which encompasses financial aid and bursar operations, using our email address, which is probably the best way to get us at this point since we're working remotely, and that's onestop, ONESTOP, @rider.edu, or you can certainly leave a message at 609-896-5360, and we are currently setting up either Zoom meetings, phone calls, etc. for families that have questions. Once again, my name is Jim Conlon, and I'm the Executive Director of One Stop Services here at Rider, and I want to wish you the best of luck on your admissions process. Good luck, and see you soon.